Strippers. It's a subject that most people are not comfortable talking about, but if you want to build high-end custom cars, sooner or later, you're either going to have to hire a stripper or become a stripper. If we're being honest, most of us don't enjoy stripping, but sometimes it's a necessary evil. And I get people that ask me, hey Gary, what's your favorite types of strippers? Well, I like all different types of strippers. Before we get into all of that, let's talk about the three major categories of automotive stripping and the pros and cons to each of them. You really only have three different options, or a combination of those three options. Number one, you can come in and mechanically strip it. Number two, you can chem strip it. Last but not least, you can come in and do some kind of media blasting. And they all have their advantages and disadvantages. The purpose of this video today is to show you when and when you should not use each one of these processes on your automobile. So before you become a stripper, let's talk about why you want to be a stripper. Well, you've got rust, you've got adhesion, you've got unknowns, and there's a lot that goes with that. If you're dealing with an older car and it's lacquer, you definitely do not want to put modern technology primers and base coats and clear coat over that old lacquer. That old 1K lacquer is still moving around and it'll get soft and it could blow up your paint job. Rust. If you don't take it down to bare metal, you don't know what's underneath there. You spend all this time and money making your car perfect and it rusts out in a couple years. If you're dealing with a car that's 60 or 70 years old, it could have been touched by a hillbilly a couple times and a lot of Bondo or mills underneath there. So there's a lot of reasons why you should strip a car. You don't have to 100% of the time, but the best way to do it is to start over with raw metal or raw substrates and build the car back up from there. I paid a lot of money to strippers in the past, and before you choose which stripping is best for you and your car, I would get a mill gauge. This one is very inexpensive. There's definitely ones better out there, but these are $100 or less. I would actually measure the car. A mil, M-I-L, is 1/1000th of an inch. In most OEM paint jobs are that 4 to 7 range. If my car had 20, 30 mils, I absolutely would strip it, either a full strip or a mini strip. In a perfect world, when I go to paint all my primers, all my old finishes, I want it to be single digits. What does that mean? I want 9.9 mils or less before I put my sealer, base coat, and clear on. But there's another problem. If you have stone chips, you definitely want to strip those little areas. Those little rock chips will grow and they'll just mess up your job in the future. So even if you're doing a mini strip and knocking everything down to 5, 6, 7 mils, you definitely want to chase out that rust before you move on. Let's talk about the pros and cons of doing a mechanical strip. The obvious is you can do it yourself. You don't need to hire a company that charges you hundreds if not thousands of dollars to do a chemical strip or a media blast. Another pro to it is you can do the mini strip. If you don't want to go all the way down, which I think might be a mistake, you at least have that option. The last but not least, why I like the mechanical strip, is it might be cheaper. What do I mean by that? Is I can buy $100 worth of sandpaper at a time and I can kind of do it myself. If you factor in your hourly rate, unless you're retired, it may not be cheaper, but at least it's more affordable from the get. All right, for every pro, there's got to be a con. All right, there definitely is. The downside to it is mechanical stripping will not get it fully clean. What do I mean by that? You're probably going to have to come in and work in some sand blasting or media blasting in some corners and edges. So I don't think mechanical stripping can be done on its own if you truly want to get everything off. Another downside, and this is a big one for me, it's messy. It's going to tear apart your garage. It's very dirty. Last but not least, it's time consuming. Let's talk about the pros and cons of media blasting. All right, the upside is it's super fast. It is somewhat affordable, especially if you do it yourself. If you've got big money, the great thing is you can take it to a pro, give them a check, and you can be focused on other aspects of the build, so you don't have to do anything there. The downsides is this. Even if you go to a professional and they don't know what they're doing, it creates so much heat with traditional silica that they can destroy the vehicle. I know they have a lot of different kinds of media out there that doesn't create the heat, but you absolutely want to go to a professional and or do your homework before you start media blasting. What I like about it is it really gets the substrate super clean. With mechanical sanding, sometimes there'll be a little bit of rust or whatever, and I can't get it all the way off unless I want to grind it. With the media blaster, I can kill 100% of that rust. Another thing I don't like about media blasting, super messy. Even when I got a car in a rotisserie and I have it blasted, I'll blow it off, vacuum it, roll it over 100 times, vacuum it. A month later, sand's still coming out of it. So this is my preferred method, but it's not perfect. These units are very inexpensive. This guy here, brand new, is between $100 and $200, and you can buy them anywhere online. I don't like cheap sandblasting cabinets. If you've got a good one, they work well. I don't like those cheap little ray guns. They'll take hours and hours and hours to strip stuff. So this is the bare minimum of what I would get if I was actually trying to tackle a car yourself, or you could hire a professional. Everyone's always asking us, where do you get this stuff at? To be honest with you, I buy a lot of my stuff locally from my jobber, but not everyone's in that situation. So to help you guys out, we set up an Amazon page. And you can actually find a lot of this stuff that we use in our videos, and you can purchase it from Amazon if it makes sense to you. Also, if you go to refinishmedia.com and actually punch your email in there, we have a lot of exciting stuff coming up in the near future. Before we talk about chemical stripping, I want to talk to you a little bit more about the mechanical stripping and the media blasting. Here's the thing, you got your vehicle in raw steel. You really shouldn't be touching it with your sweaty, greasy KFC hands because you'll actually put fingerprints, contamination, or rust on it. Another thing that you should know is that if your vehicle is in raw steel, in 30 minutes or less, with 50% relative humidity, rust can start creeping in. So how do you get around this? Well, you can do smaller batches. If you do a whole car and it's sandblasted, there's no way you're gonna get it from the blaster back to your shop and get it in primer in 30 minutes or less. What would I do? I would come in with a DA with a little bit of 80 grit and 150 grit, and then I could go to my epoxy. Here's one more curveball for you, is I know epoxy is better than etch. I think that the industry knows that too. But you really should be doing more if you're trying to build a high-end car. What do I mean by that? Phosphate coatings and metal conditioners. We have an entire video on this process. You can put this directly over a mechanically stripped vehicle. I would not take a car that's been media blasted and go right to this process. I would absolutely run a couple DAs over it with the 80 to 150 grit scratch so you can change the profile a little bit. Chemical stripping. If done correctly, this might be your best option. Now let's talk a little bit about the history of chem strip. Back in the day, I'd get some zip strip, I'd pull a hood on a car, I'd run a DA with some 80 grit to help break the surface up. I'd take this nasty toxic paste, I would coat that hood, and I would cover it with plastic. After a half an hour, I'd take some gloves and some Bondo spreaders and I'd scrape it off, I'd power wash it, get it dry, and I could run my DAs over it. And it worked pretty well. I'm sure that there's still products that exist out there that work okay. I know SX103 works really good on 1K material that's been sprayed over raw plastic. But if I'm being honest, here in America, the EPA has neutered a lot of those products, and maybe rightly so. So when I say chem stripping, I'm talking about a professional. I'm taking the car body, or at least parts of the car, and I'm taking it to an actual company who will submerge the vehicle or the car parts in a heavy, nasty chemical, and it eats all the paint, all the Bondo, all the rust off. What I like about it is that that liquid will get into all the spots that my media blaster or my DA can't get, and it'll eat all of the rust off. Technically, if it's done correctly, it should be pulled out of that vat, put into a different vat that neutralizes that heavy acid. After that, it should go into an E-coat, so when you get your vehicle back, it's brand new, it's E-coated, and it's protected. Let's talk about the pros and cons of chem stripping. If it's done correctly, I think it's the best thing out there. All the rust comes off and then the e-coat goes on. And if I'm being honest, e-coat is probably superior to epoxy, all right? So if it's done correctly, it's awesome, all right? What's the downside to it? There's a lot of them. One, you better make sure that the guy knows what he's doing. I've seen horror stories from cars where they didn't get all of the acid out and the car is actually rusting from the inside out. What do you do in that situation? You're done, son. There's nothing you can do. We actually will come into the rocker panels sometimes and the roof, and we'll drill holes to help the acid come out and help the neutralizer in the e-coat. That freaks some people out, drilling some holes in their $1 million car. But that is the one thing that I'm worried about, is having the car actually done correctly. If you don't have that, you have nothing. Another downside to using a chem strip is probably the most expensive form out there, especially if you're pairing it with the e-coating. Last but not least, if you're gonna have your car professionally stripped, the entire car, everything's gotta come out. Every nut and bolt, every wire, the interior, glass, chrome, the car needs to be a bare shell. And everything's gonna get ate away. You have to recaulk that car and everything and build it back up. So if you're doing a $1 million restoration and you want it done right and you have the right person doing it, it's awesome. If you get the wrong person, it might be a nightmare. So what is the best way to strip your car? That comes down to personal preference, what kind of time you've got, what kind of money you have, and ultimately, what shape is the car in and what are you trying to accomplish? There are pros and cons to mechanical stripping, chem stripping, and media blasting. And if I'm being honest with you, in a lot of cases, I'll do a combination of 2 or 3 of those things to get the best job possible. Hey, hopefully you liked this video. Hopefully you learned a lot. David and I work really hard to bring you the best information so you can make more money and be a professional. If you like our channel, if you like our content, make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps us out. From all of us at Refinish Media, until the next time.